please. Rob, Director Paris, could you lead us in the pledge?
Please join me in the pledge of our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America,
and to the
and
republic
the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Paris. Roll call vote, please. Holly?
Division 6, Audrey Miller.
Here.
Division 5, Robert Paris.
Here.
Division 3, Jay Tremblay.
Here.
Division 2, Keith Dias.
here.
Division 1, Drew Mercy.
Here.
Division 7, Gary Van Dam.
Here.
Division 4, George Lane.
Here.
General Manager Knutson.
Here.
General Counsel Markman.
Here.
General Counsel Emily Meduano.
Here.
And Holly Hughes present.
Thank you. Voluntary public roll call. This time, any members from the public could, listening in, could you please introduce yourself?
Jeff
Sure.
Cephas. Good evening.
John Munson, Sierra
Yeah,
Club.
we could hardly hear you. Can you speak up?
John Munson, Sierra Club. Can you hear me?
Thank you, John.
Kathy McLaren, Palmdale Water District.
Thank you, Kathy. Welcome.
John Ukestead.
Thank you, John Ukestead. Welcome. Anybody else? Okay.
Doug Everts is also here. Good evening, everybody.
Thank you, Doug. So Doug Everts is one of our acting attorneys. Okay, let's move on. Public comments. Anybody from the public listening in that want to make a comment here tonight? I know we've got a few people from the public, but, okay, let's adopt the agenda.
Oh, wait.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Debbie has a comment.
I'm sorry, Debbie.
Good evening. I'm just here to invite you all to the Poppy Festival this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It should be a great event. And then the following Wednesday, we have our livestock auction. And those kids that you saw 2 weeks ago are so excited and ready to go and sell their animals. So hope to see you all there. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. And thank you for all you do for the fair and for the kids feeding kids. You're amazing. Okay, moving on, number 6, adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to
Holly?
adopt the agenda?
Sorry, Director Van Dam. I think I see a hand raised on the online there.
Oh, John Munson.
Yes. For
Go
public.
ahead, John.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. Just want to make sure you can hear me since you had a trouble a minute ago. You okay?
Yes.
Thanks. Well, my name is John Munson and I'm representing the Sierra Club. I appreciate the opportunity to occasionally drop by and provide you with an update on the Cadiz water mining project. No matter what Cadiz says in its press releases, its record over the last 18 months features a mounting series of rejections and growing opposition. Last week, the prestigious Zacks investment research firm changed its rating of the Cadiz stock to a strong sell, its worst rating possible. Zacks gives Cadiz a value score of F, a growth score of F, and a momentum score of D. Cadiz looks like a company that's in serious trouble. Cadiz has bragged about being invited to apply for a $200 million EPA low-interest loan under the Water Infrastructure Finance and Innovation Act, money essential to paying for the staggering cost of Cadiz pipelines. But in the president's FY 2027 budget released just a few days ago, WIFIA is cut by $3 million, leaving little, if any, funding available for Cadiz. Last weekend, the chairman of the Chemehuevi Indian tribe and the chairman of the Fort Mojave Indian tribe published a scathing editorial opposing the Cadiz water mining project, declaring the scheme would cause, quote, irreparable harm to our people, our way of life, and our traditions. These are the tribes whose traditional territories cover the Cadiz project in the Mojave Desert. Their leaders are calling on all tribal nations and allies to stand with them against the project. The Cadiz rejection streak goes back to last November when the Arizona Water Infrastructure Authority rejected a Cadiz water export proposal with the board questioning the project's readiness. The chairman told the press the proposal is, quote, off the table. The losing streak goes back to December 2024, when the California State Lands Commission unanimously 3-0 rejected KD's pipeline lease request. Commission Chair and State Controller Maria Cohen was direct. Quote, we have no assurance that the project, which appears to be the only potential revenue source for this company, will ever come to fruition. And I'm not willing to gamble with the taxpayers' money, close quote. And even if Cadiz somehow found financing, which is dubious, the Cadiz losing streak really goes back to mid-2019 with the passage of SB 307, which says no water may be extracted from the desert aquifers unless the state agencies find the extraction will not harm natural or cultural resources. Even the Cadiz lobbyists at the time the legislation was being considered admitted that Cadiz could not meet the bill's standards. You have been wise to keep your distance from this toxic project, and I thank you for letting me occasionally drop by and make a public comment. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Any other comments?
I have one.
Okay.
I would like to introduce Lisa Lombardi O'Reilly. Come on up, Lisa. Lisa has been charged to do our legacy book. So you committee members did meet with Lisa. She will be interviewing our board in early May. We'll start the process. And she comes highly qualified, highly recommended. And we want to welcome her. And she will be working on our historical legacy book.
Thank you very much. I look forward to getting started.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay. Moving on, adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
Mr. Vice President, I'll move we adopt the agenda.
Got a first by Director Mercy,
Mr. Vice President, I'll second that motion.
second by Director Paris. Madam Secretary, or any board discussion or public comment? Madam Secretary, can I get a roll call?
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Parent,
Yes.
Jay Tremblay,
Yes.
Keith Dias,
Yes.
Drew Mercy,
Yes.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes,
George Lane.
Yes.
motion carried. Okay, number 7, consent calendar. Action items. May I have a motion for the consent calendar?
Mr. Vice President, I'll move approval of the consent calendar.
Got a motion by Director Mercy,
I'll second that.
second by Director Tremblay. Any discussion from the board and any public comments? If none, Holly, can I please get a roll call vote?
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Parent, Jay Tremblay,
Yes.
Keith Dias,
Yes.
Drew Mercy,
Yes.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes,
George Lane.
Yes.
motion carried. Item number 8, consideration of the possible action, Finance Committee, Chair Keith Dias.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Vice President. The Finance Committee met last week, and the first item that we discussed and will recommend for full board approval is the check register list for the period of March 12th through April 1st, 2026. And I will ask our general manager to present tonight to the full board.
All right, thank you, Director Dias. Good evening, board. So if you go to page 23 of your packet, we have the check run for this period. I'll hit just a few of the highlights. Began on page 23. We have 2 payments this month to Department of Water Resources. The first one is for our fixed monthly charges, and that's just over $2 million for the month. The second check is for our variable costs associated with moving water through the State Water Project during the month of February, and that's a little over $120,000 for the month. If you go on to page 24, a few progress payments for some construction and improvement projects. Item 29 is a progress payment to APCO. They've been hired by the board to update the agency's SCADA system. There's a progress payment of just over $34,000 within the approved contract. Item 34, progress payment to Sierra Construction and Excavation for some work on the Mojave feeder and Lake Hughes feeder. It's a valve replacement project, just over $354,000 based on the board approved agreement. And then item 36 is a progress payment to Water Systems Consulting, who is updating the agency's 5 urban water management plan for 2025. And that's a plan required by Department of Water Resources every 5 years. And that's just under $12,000. Then there, you can see on page 28 and 29, just a few payments associated with the High Desert Water Bank. All of these costs are reimbursed by Metropolitan Water District. And that's all I have to report, unless you have any questions on any specific items.
Thank you, GM Newton.
Yep.
Anything else, Chair Dias?
No, that is it, for that item. I'll make a motion, we approve Board Order 8A1.
Okay, I've got a motion by Director Dias and a second, please.
Mr. Vice President, I'll second that motion.
And a second by Director Paris. Any discussion from the board, public comments? If none, Holly, could I get a roll call vote, please?
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Paris.
Yes.
Jay Tremblay,
Yes.
Keith Dias,
Yes.
Drew Mercy,
Yes.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes,
George Lane.
Yes.
motion carried. Okay, moving on. Item number 7, no, sorry. Next page.
8A2.
Okay, I guess that's customer relations on the public information.
Oh, no, it's the membership list still on finance. 8A2.
Okay, 882. Okay,
Again, we will ask our General Manager Knudsen to present this item.
okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. So if you look at on page 31 of your packet, we have a brief staff report. And attached to that staff report on page 32 is the recommended membership list and budget for upcoming fiscal year 2026-2027 budget. So as you know, each year we go through, prior to adopting the budget, we run this through the finance committee, look at all the annual memberships that we belong to throughout the year. Each of these provide different value to the agency. Big one is Association of California Water Agencies. That's an organization that provides access to the JPIA, which provides all of our general liability, property, workers' comp insurance for the agency. But every other organization brings different values to the agency. You can see the total recommended budget amount of $73,000, and that is unchanged from the current fiscal year. So we're not recommending any additions to the organizations that we belong a member to or the amount that we're budgeting. And this was reviewed by the Finance Committee last week, and they support recommendation to approve this.
Okay, do I need a motion? Approval, okay, could I get a motion, please?
Well, I'll make a motion, Mr. President.
Got a motion by Director Tremblay
Second by Director Miller.
and a second by Director Miller. Any comment from the board or public?
It doesn't look like Teresa's costing us anything with her one membership for the treasurers is 150 and the other for the American bookkeepers is 50. Man,
He's a bargain.
these, the other ones are pretty high.
Good job, Teresa. Okay, Madam Secretary, could I get a motion or a roll call vote, please?
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Paris.
Yes.
Jay Tremblay,
Yes.
Keith Dias,
Yes.
Drew Mercy,
Recuse?
Gary Van Dam,
Yes,
and George Lane. George?
Muller? Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carried.
And that would conclude the Finance Committee report, Mr. Vice President.
Thank you, Director Dias. Okay, moving on. Next page, Customer Relations and Public Information. I'm the chair of that, Gary Van Dam. We had our meeting and discussed going over on a couple of Antelope Valley boosters. I guess they changed the name of that. It used to be, I believe it was the Antelope Valley Sheriff Boosters. Got Jeff Little here. Jeff, could you come up and do a presentation, please?
Vice President Van Dam, thank you. Directors, thank you. Yes, Antelope Valley Boosters used to be the Antelope Valley Sheriff Booster. We made a change here a year or so ago, and we're just as big as ever. I've been on the board for probably now almost 20-something years. It doesn't seem like it's been that long. When I first got on the board, this board maybe generated maybe $30,000 a year. I can remember first time being on the board back in those days, our departments, both Palmdale and Lancaster, were very thrilled to get new radios for the cars at that point in time. And that was the big thing. And we come to find out they were 10 years old from Desert Storm. So we brought this new agency and this board to another level. We've included our casino night. We now raise over $1 million a year, and we want to keep it going that direction. We have meetings once a month. Both captains from Palmdale, both captains from Lancaster, CHP, fire department. I can't remember one time that we've ever done something. Thanks to generous people in this community, we have a 35-person board that we named Tim, and that's their nickname. So everybody has no egos when they check themselves in. It's time, influence, and money. And we support our law enforcement. Being involved with this as long as I have, I cannot believe at the time how understaffed and what small amount they get from the county at times. So appreciate anything and welcome all donations that we can get. I'm here to answer any questions whatsoever.
Any questions from the board for Jeff?
I just want to make a comment, Mr. Vice President. I've watched the boosters in action for almost as long as you've been on it, Jeff.
Probably longer,
Yeah.
Mr. Pierce. Yes, sir.
And you guys do a phenomenal job. And the support you've given the sheriffs and the safety equipment you've given to all law enforcement. And in the last few years, I know you've expanded to all public safety agencies. So it's a phenomenal organization. The work you do in our community is incredible. And I would move approval of Board Order 8B1. And
So I've got a motion by Director Paris and a second, please.
Well, I'll make a second.
We got a second by Director Trimley. Any comments from the board or from the public? Madam Secretary, could I get a roll call vote?
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Paris,
yes.
Jay Tremblay,
Yes.
Keith Dias,
Yes.
Drew Mercy,
Yes.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
George Lane.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you for everything you
so
do.
much. I
And
really appreciate it. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you for all you do.
Thank you.
I do want to
appreciate it.
mention, so you've been on the board that long, but how long you been president?
Why is Debbie laughing? Just under a few months. And, so it's been it's been good, and we got a great board, so it's just not one or two people. It's a great board. And then it's always nice to lean on people, Mr. Paris, and other individuals of the Van Dams have, so we have a great support system, so, and one thing I want to remark is that when this board first started, those scholarships and fallen heroes are still in place. And so that's huge for us in this, on this board too. So I can't thank anybody, but the board itself, we got some great members on there who come to this meeting every month and they come up with new ideas. So it's going to be a good thing. So you got to stick around, Drew. Yeah.
Will do. Appreciate your leadership.
All right.
Thank you for all you do. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff. Okay, moving on. 8B2, consideration possible action, sponsoring a table at the AV Fair Rule Museum. And I believe that GM Knutson,
All right.
want to go into that one?
Yeah, thank you, Vice President Van Dam. So if you look on page 37, brief staff report, and attached to the staff report is some information we received from the Antelope Valley Rural Museum. They have an event coming up on May 30th. It's a Saturday from 4 to 8 p.m. It's a fundraising event and a little dinner. They're offering dinner tickets at $65 each or a table of 8 for $440. And we reviewed this item with the Public Information and Customer Relations Committee, and they thought it'd be good for us to buy a table for this event, being that the agency has donated some money to help fund the construction of their museum. So, and I think we're also working with the staff over there to have a little AVEK display at some point where we can talk about the history of AVEK and maybe put some old items up there, some photos, etc. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, but like I said, the committee is supportive of buying a table of 8 for $440.
I agree to that. I've got one comment. Didn't they do a banner or something for AVAC on that other donation that AVAC donated to the?
Yeah, I think they're reserving kind of a wall within the museum that we can put some information up about AVAC.
Okay.
So that's part of our donation.
Okay, I know Bill Rawlings and Giovanni Simi kind of head that deal. And
Yeah.
Jeff Cody and they've done a great job with that rural museum. It's if you haven't been there, you probably need to.
Mr. Vice President, also move on board order 8B3, Victor Lane.
Okay, I got a motion by President Lane.
And that's just corrections, 8B2.
On 8, yes, 8B2.
8B2.
Yes, okay.
Mr. Vice President, I'll second that motion.
And a second by Director Paris. Any public comment? Comment from the board? Madam Secretary, roll call vote, please.
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Paris,
Yes.
Jay Tremblay,
Yes.
Keith Dias,
Yes.
Drew Mercy,
Yes.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes,
George Lane.
Yes.
motion carried.
And we'll have a arm wrestling match to see who gets the ticket. So,
Thank you, Matt.
yeah.
Okay, moving on. 8B3, consideration and possible action on a sponsorship of the Antelope Valley Law Appreciation Luncheon. Director okay, that's, I guess, GM Matt.
Yep. Thank you again, Vice President Van Dam. So this item, we have staff report on page 41 and a little bit of background. So we got a request from the Friends of the Antelope Valley Fair, the chairman, Director Paris. So he submitted a letter requesting that the agency sponsor upcoming luncheon as well as sponsor a art and speech contest for the local high school students. So a little more background. Last year, we did not participate in this program because I don't think they had a law day
We
last
did not
year.
have law day last year.
But in 2024, the agency did participate and we donated $5,000 towards the luncheon and the speech contest at that time.
Actually, the art contest.
Art contest, yeah. So we presented this item to the committee. They were generally supportive. Wanted to hear a little bit more maybe from Director Paris about the benefits of the program and before the board decided on the donation amount. So with that, I'll turn it over to Director Paris.
Be very happy to speak about Law Day. Law Day, for the last probably 10 years, been supported by Friends of the Fair and the entire fair organization and in the community. And it started, oh gosh, over 50 years ago in the Antelope Valley. And I participated in it for about 35 years. It originally was started by our AV Bar Association. There is no more AV Bar Association. Friends of Fair took it over. And I think almost most of you have been to the event. It's a great event where we honor our local judges of the year, prosecutors, public defenders, sheriffs, highway patrol. And then several years ago, we started doing speech contests. And then just a few years ago, we added the art contest, actually for our local high school students to participate for scholarships. And for the art contest, AVEK was, I believe, the very first sponsor. It's, we call it a Palladium sponsor, highest sponsorship for Law Day. And what this will do is provide scholarships for already $125 for every finalist from every high school that participates, $500 for the 2 runner-ups at the event, and $1,000 for the winner of the art contest at Law Day. The art will be judged by the actual local Superior Court judges who show up at the event. They will also judge the speech contest. And then part of the funding, your donation would provide for tables and seating for all the honorees' families. And we try to make this an event where none of the honorees have to pay for tickets for their families, for themselves, or any of their supporters. So again, most of you have been there. It's a great event. I encourage you all to go. AVEK would also have a table or 2, depending on how many they need, to be at the event if they do this sponsorship. So highly encourage it. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Paris.
Mr. Vice
Any
President,
comment?
I was just gonna move approval of board item 8B3.
So I've got a motion by Director Mercy and a second, please.
I'll make a second.
I got a second by Director Tremblay. Any public comment? Madam Secretary, could I get a roll call vote, please?
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Paris,
Yes.
Jay Tremblay,
Yes.
Keith Dias,
Yes.
Drew Mercy,
Yes.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
George Lane.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, very much. And
Motion
come
carries.
to the event.
Thank you, Rob. Okay, moving on. East Side Water Bank Committee, Chair Director Mercy.
Oh, Mr. Vice President, I think we have one more item, 8B4.
Election of LA County.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep. So 8B4, consideration and possible action of the Los Angeles County Special District Local Foundation, LAFCO. GM Knutson.
All right. Thank you again, Vice President Van Dam. So if you look on page 45 of your packet, you can see the notice that we received from Lager Law, who's a law firm that's kind of heading up this process of voting for the LAFCO LAFCO membership opening. So as a special district, AVEK is a casting vote for LAFCO. So they currently have a vacancy on the board, or what do they call themselves? Board or commission, I believe. So low background. A couple weeks ago, there was a CSDA event in Santa Clarita, which AVEK normally attends. And at that CSDA chapter event, they invited the 3 candidates for the LAFCO position. If you look on page 46, you can see their names listed there. It was Gary Burns, who is the board member at Los Virgenes Municipal Water District, Vera DeWitt, who is a board member at the Water Replenishment District of Southern California, and Robert Lewis is a board member at Roland Water District. So 2 of the 3 attended that CSDA chapter event, went through some Q&A with the group. The 2 that were there is Gary Burns and Vera DeWitt. Robert Lewis couldn't make it. You can see all 3 of them are well qualified, been on boards for a number of years. We talked about this with the committee, and I think the committee was comfortable recommending Vera DeWitt. We had directors Mercy and Tremblay at the CSDA event, so they heard the Q&A firsthand if they wanted to add anything to that recommendation.
Yeah, I just added, they both were, seemed like very good, dedicated people, brought great perspectives, but it seemed to me that Ms. DeWitt was a little more knowledgeable, but all good people.
Yeah, see, I was sitting at the table with her because Debbie invited me to sit there with her. She was very, very personable and very knowledgeable. And when I was at the Palmdale Water District meeting last night, they were going to be voting for her on there, and they felt very highly of her.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, may I get a motion?
Yeah, Gary, just one comment. In the past, sometime we've had him, as Director Lane, in the past, we've had him call in and talk to the board or the committees. We didn't do that this year, and that's okay, but that's something we should think about in the future.
Okay. Thank you, President Lane. Maybe we'll, put that on the, maybe in the future.
Yeah.
I got a question. How long is this term for?
It goes through 2030. So
4-year.
4-year term.
It's a 4-year term?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, may I have a motion, please?
Mr. Vice President, I'll move, we cast our vote for Vera Robles DeWitt.
So I've got a motion by Director Mercy and a second.
I'll second Mr. Mercy's.
And a second by Director Tremblay. Any discussion from the board? Any public comment? Ollie, could I please get a roll call vote?
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Paris.
Yes.
Jay Tremblay,
Yes.
Keith Dias,
Yes.
Drew Mercy,
Yes.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
George Lane.
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on, Eastside Water Bank Committee, Director Chair, Drew Mercy.
Well, thank you, Mr. Vice President. We met recently and had a very good report, which I'll defer to Assistant General Manager Lindsay.
All right. Thank you, Director Mercy. Good evening, Vice President Van Dam, members of the board. We've got a brief presentation on status update on how the feasibility study's been going. Mr. Rob Morrow with Water Systems Consulting is on to provide that update. But before that, just some quick background. The board authorized execution of an MOU with San Gorgonio Pass Water Agency in August of 2025. Part of that feasibility study, we thought it was prudent to do some due diligence on 2 sites initially before honing in on one to do some more detailed analysis. In November 2025, AVEK and San Gorgonio executed a funding agreement for that feasibility study. And in the same month, AVEK also executed a contract with Water Systems Consulting for that feasibility work. So to provide you with an update on what's been going on since November 2025, I'll turn it over to Rob Morrow with Water Systems Consulting. Rob, go ahead.
It's good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me. Again, I'll keep this brief and answer whatever questions you have as we go through and at the end. So I'll just provide a quick update today. Next slide, please. So the overall study, we're in the very first step of looking at putting in a new groundwater bank in the valley. And so really what we're looking at these 2 general sites and want to take a high level look at, is it technically and financially viable to implement a bank, considering the hydrogeological conditions, technical, environmental, and regulatory aspects. So we're touching all those at a high level right now. And we've got 2 partners in this. You guys, looking to increase local storage of imported water, increase reliability and operational flexibility. And then San Gorgonio Pass has a specific need where they've got constraints getting imported water to them in wet years. And so upstream of that constraint within the Antelope Valley can store water and then convey it when that constraint is not there. And so this bank location is ideal for them. Next slide, please. So we got a pretty basic schedule laid out here. We got started in November as we noted, but we really picked up our work out of the holidays the last few months, and we met about a month ago with everybody going over our initial site evaluation. And that site evaluation considered a whole bunch of characteristics: the hydrogeology, underground conditions, operational constraints with the state water project and the California aqueduct, design considerations, what facilities are currently available, what would be needed, how much would those cost, a high level environmental screening to see if there's issues like Joshua trees, looking at water quality because we need to get the water back from the groundwater basin into the aqueduct, and that has some certain constraints. And then ultimately getting towards property identification as a future step. So the last 3 months we spent looking at the two sites. When we go to the next slide to show those sites. So they're pretty far apart. The site number 1 is in and around your east side water bank. And we split this site up into north and south, north of the aqueduct and south of the aqueduct. And then site 2 is the Healy Ranch area. And so both of these areas, you own some land and some is, or site 1, it's beyond there. And so again, what we did is collected basic information for both of these sites to see which one do we want to spend more time in the next phase to dig down deeper, do some groundwater modeling, and really set this up for implementation. So the next slide, this is a high level look at our outputs. On the left is all the different characteristics we looked at. How much recharge area is available? What's the percolation rate? How can we get water in the ground quicker? How much room is there underground to store water? Can we get it out of the ground at a sufficient rate? Can we get water there? Is there environmental restrictions? Is there water quality restrictions? And what facilities are there that we could build upon? And then lastly, O&M wise, really looking at elevation and pumping and long-term O&M costs. And, long story short, the site 1 in and around the east side water bank came out as the preferred location, primarily because you've been operating a bank there and it's been going well, and there's room for either expansion near or in the general vicinity of the bank. South of the aqueduct, the recovery rate, based on the information that's out there, is a little lower, which would require additional wells to go in, so additional capital costs. And there wasn't great data on recharge rates or water quality. So it was these check marks with the question marks are really kind of the uncertainty around the data. And that really goes for site 2. Site 2, we only really had 1 or 2 data points for a lot of this information. And so those data points were positive, but it's hard to say let's go for it based on just that limited information. So it seems like it has a potential, but I think it needs additional investigation to provide more confidence between a lot more investment is made in the site number 2. So as of today, we're moving forward with developing bank kind of preliminary design, feasibility level banking facility definition for the site 1 north. And again, we're doing some groundwater modeling. We're going to do further environmental work and define the project more, and then lay out an implementation plan for how the district can implement it into the future. And that's all the slides I have for today.
Thank you, Rob. Any questions for Rob from the board?
No.
No questions? Okay. Moving on, 8C2, consideration possible action.
Holly, is there a hand raised? On my screen, I see that there could be a hand raised online.
Okay.
John Monson.
Okay.
Yeah, if is this appropriate time for a question or two?
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, this is a really fascinating program, so I'm really glad to hear about it. You mentioned constraints on the San Gorgonio Pass Water Agency, and I didn't quite catch what those constraints were.
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, John, this is Matt Knutson. I'm general manager for AVEK. So Rob Morrow mentioned the constraints that San Gorgonio Pass Water Agency has on moving water through the state water project system. So as the water moves through the state water project, as it crosses through the Antelope Valley, it gets to a pumping station known as the Pear Blossom Pumping Station. And there's a physical bottleneck or reduction in capacity at that pump station. So this project will allow San Gorgonio to offload or bank surplus water within AVEK. And then when the drier conditions exist on the state water project, there is plenty of capacity and they could recover the water from our bank and move it through that pump station.
So there's a physical way to move the water as opposed to exchanging it?
Yes, this project is envisioned to move physical water.
Wow.
So the water bank here in Antelope Valley will be San Gorgonio's water right or water supply, and then we'll recover that water supply and move it to San Gorgonio. So we can physically do it, or we could do it via an operational exchange as well.
The last question I just had is, it looked like in the agreement that the San Gorgonio Pass Water Agency was picking up variably 80% of the costs and 100% of the costs. I was just curious if I was right and what that might mean.
Yeah, so in our agreement, San Gorgonio picks up 80% of the feasibility study, but once we move to implementation, then they'll cover 100% of the cost.
Thank you very much. Very interesting project. Thanks.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you. Any more questions from the comments from the public or the board? Okay. Moving on. Consideration possible action on 8C2. I believe that's you, Matt.
Actually, it's going to be Assistant General Manager Lipton.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, Justin.
Thank you. And if you want to advance the slides a couple there, Holly. Yeah, so we discussed the MOU that we've entered into back in August 2025 with San Gorgonio. One of the key things in that MOU was the discussion of property acquisition associated with this project. And then as Matt just described, Holly, if you want to go to one more slide for me, some of the key terms of the agreement include that 80%, 20% split for the feasibility costs, but it also identified that San Gorgonio Pass Water Agency would be responsible for 100% of any property costs associated with securing or purchasing suitable properties for the feasibility studies. One more slide. So this amendment, number one, takes it just one step further with some additional clarity surrounding roles and financial responsibilities regarding any option or purchase agreements for vacant property in support of feasibility study efforts. So the amendment describes that San Gorgonio will bear 100% of all costs associated with any property options or acquisitions. AVEK would be the contracting party in those agreements. These costs will be separate from the feasibility study costs. Both agencies will confer on any business terms, and then both boards would approve any option or purchase agreements, as well as any amendments or terminations of those agreements in the future. The term of this amendment would be concurrent with the original MOU, and San Gorgonio Pass Water Agency's Board of Directors has already approved the MOU at their April 6th board meeting. So pretty straightforward, but I'd be happy to answer any questions. Recommendation from the committee and staff is that we would support execution of this agreement.
Great. Thank you, Justin. Any comments from the board, public?
Mr. Vice President, I'll move approval on 8C2.
Got a motion from Director Mercy and a second, please.
Director Miller seconds.
And a second by Director Miller. Any public comment? Any board comment? Holly, could I get a roll call vote, please?
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Paris,
I abstain.
Jay Tremblay,
Yes.
Keith Dias,
Yes.
Drew Mercy,
Yes.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
George Lane.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on. Okay. Personal Legal JPIA Committee, Director Audrey Miller. Go ahead.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Vice President. We have a consideration and possible action on training and development opportunities, one of which we see for the general manager at a leadership summit. And I felt a little strange having Matt talk about his own training, but I'm going to allow him to do that. So go ahead, Matt.
All right, thank you, Director Miller. So yeah, this item was presented to the Personnel Committee. It came through from CSDA. It's a General Manager's Leadership Summit. It's late June down in Newport Beach. And being that we're a member of CSDA, looking at it, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to get some training at a very reasonable cost for the agency. So if you look on page, 63 of your packet is the brochure that talks about the 3-day class and some of the speakers that will be there. And like Director Miller said, the committee thought it'd be a good training opportunity for myself. So the committee wanted to recommend to the full board to authorize me to sign up for this training opportunity.
Thank you, GM Knutson.
Thank you.
Do we need a motion?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Mr. Vice President, I'll move on 8D1.
Got a motion by Director Miller and a second, please.
Well, I make a second, but I don't see how.
A second by Director Tremblay. Any public comment? Comments from the board? Madam Secretary, roll call vote.
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Paris,
Yes.
Jay Tremblay,
Yes.
Keith Dias,
Yes.
Drew Mercy,
Yes.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
George Lane. George?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jim Knutson. 8D1. Also, Matt.
Director Paris, did you want to say anything about this one?
No, I'll let you handle that, Matt. Go ahead.
It's actually 8E1. So this is our opportunity to review the Water Master agenda for next week's Water Master meeting. Our timing's a little odd this month, because typically we have had the advisory committee meeting and we have the full packet to review, as well as the advisory committee report. And then we have the Water Master meeting. So being that the way our meeting fell in relation to the Water Master and Advisory Committee, we don't have that opportunity this month. So we went through the draft agenda that will be discussed tomorrow with the Advisory Committee. And Kyle Wright, our Water Resource Planner, is going to come up and hit the highlights on that agenda. So thank you, Kyle.
Good evening, directors. All right, so we'll get started with the first one here, consideration and possible action on accepting and filing the Water Master's annual financial reports for years ending December 31, 25 and 2024. CJ Brown and Company, CPAs, they were the ones that conducted the audit for these financial statements, and they reported that the financial statements present fairly in all material respects, which is considered a clean opinion. So great job to Teresa on that. That auditor's report and financial statement will be reviewed in detail at the meeting during the presentation. So it's AVEK staff's recommendation to support accepting and filing the AV Water Masters annual financial reports for years 25 and 24. Moving on to the consideration and possible action on production right relinquishment from Milana the 7th LLC. They are doing business as Roseman Mobile Home Park, and they're supporting a landowner, so they actually cannot carry over or transfer their production rights. They've submitted documentation to the water master that they are no longer producing any groundwater, and their well has been decommissioned. And they're currently now connected to Roseman CSD for the domestic water supply system. They've requested that their invoice for 2026 administrative assessments be voided and their non-stipulating production rights of 21.70 acre feet be relinquished. It does not say in the judgment that a non-stipulating party can't relinquish their production rights. So Water Master General Counsel recommends board approval for their request to relinquish their production rights and to void their invoice for 2026 administrative assessment. And it's staff's recommendation to support Water Master General Counsel's recommendation. Next, we have the consideration and possible action on accepting the replacement water plan submitted by the AV State Water Contractors Association, which satisfies the replacement water responsibilities for the replacement water assessments. It's submitted for approval, and the association has agreed to supply the replacement water for the excess pumping that occurred per the agreement between the association and Water Master. It's broken up between AVEK, Palmdale Water, and Little Rock Irrigation District. AVEK would be responsible for about 536 acre foot of excess pumping that occurred in its service area, while PWD will be responsible for about 14 acre feet of excess pumping in its area. And there was no excess pumping in Little Rock Creek Irrigation District's area. And the 0.08 acre foot of production by Phelan Pinyon Hill CSD that occurred outside the service area would be split between AVEK and Palmdale at 0.07 acre feet for AVEK and 0.01 for Palmdale. And that replacement water will be deducted from previous stored imported water. So that'll be broken down amongst AVEK at about 350 acre foot from Upper Amargosa, 160 acre feet at Westside Water Bank, about 24 acre feet at Little Rock Creek Recharge Site. And Palmdale Water will also tap into Little Rock Creek Recharge Site. They're stored at 14 acre feet. It's staff's recommendation to accept the filing and replacement water plan as presented. And AVEK would receive about $3,000 from the association relinquished. Okay, we'll move on to applications here. We have 3 new production applications. The first one being for Maria Herrera for half an acre foot a year in the central Antelope sub area. That would be providing water for a single family residence with some fruit trees. It is in an area of historical subsidence, which is about 2 inches of subsidence since 2015. Due to the low volume, the engineer finds negligible material injury on this application. The second is for Pedro Martinez for 3 acre foot a year, also in the central Antelope sub area, to provide water for a single family residence with a pool and spa, 4,000 square feet of plants, drought resistant plant, 10 fruit trees, horses, and some chickens. And the engineer finds this also negligible material injury. The third is for Arturo Tapia for 2 acre foot a year, central Antelope sub area, single family residence with an ADU, about 2,000 square foot of landscaping, also with fruit trees, This one is also in an area of historical subsidence, and the engineer finds this low material. It's staff's recommendation that there's no impact on AVEK's operation and to support the applications. We have one new point of extraction application for U.S. Solar Assets LLC in the West Antelope subarea. They're Exhibit 4 party, about 724 acre foot of production right, and they currently hold 7,680.61 acre feet of carryover. They have 2 wells on the property that are inactive, and they would like to be able to provide water for an operations outbuilding with a pump with a rate of about 35 gallons per minute to produce about 0.19 acre foot a year. The engineer finds this also negligible material injury. Staff's recommendation that there's no impact on our operations and to approve the application. And then the final applications, we have 2 transfers. First one's to 45 MG 8 ME LLC from Burroughs 300 840 LLC for 1 acre foot of permanent production and 250 acre foot of carryover one time. Now, this water will be used for dust control for the development of the new Aratina 2 solar facility out in the northeast corner of Rogers Lake subarea. And they would be sharing a well with Aratina 1 solar project, which is almost complete. The Aratina 1 produced about 60 acre foot in 2025. And for this new solar field, they're proposing about 88 acre foot of production during construction and about 1 acre foot a year for maintenance after completion. They'll also utilize imported water for dust control. And 45 MG is not a party to the judgment, so they will need to intervene. The engineer finds low material injury on this.
I had a question, Kyle. On that 1 acre foot, who's selling their production right to them?
That'd be Burroughs 300 840 LLC.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Sure. The second transfer is to Metler Valley Mutual Water Co. from John and Adrian Recca for 44.55 acre foot of carryover. This will go from the central Antelope subarea to the west Antelope subarea, and the 44.5 will be used to cover replacement water obligations from water pumped in 2025 by Metler Valley. So this is deemed a low material injury by the water master engineer, and it's staff's recommendation. There's no impact on AVEK's operation, and director representative to support these applications. And that is it. Do you have any questions?
Good job, Kyle.
Any questions from the board?
I have one additional item to add.
So I'm sorry, I
Oh,
have
yeah,
a
go.
couple questions. One is on that mobile home park, why wouldn't they sell their production right with 21 acre feet?
Because they're a supporting landowner, and in the judgment, a supporting landowner does not have the right to transfer or sell their production right. They can't carry it over and they can't sell it. They're not like an Exhibit 3 or Exhibit 4 party.
Okay.
They're outside those 2 production rights.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the reason for them getting rid of that production right? What, cheaper to buy it from RSCD or?
Well, they already connected to RCD for RCSD for water supplies. So they want to avoid the assessments each year.
Okay.
And so they have to relinquish the water to get rid of that.
Is this the first time that that's happened? I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. And then another question on Phelan, was that water that was pumped on the state, on that LA County side?
Yeah, on the county line out there right between LA County and San Bernardino line.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have the right to pump water. They just have to pay replacement water costs.
Okay.
So you could see based on the volumes that Kyle mentioned, they pump very little,
Okay.
like less than an acre, like a tenth of an acre foot. Yeah.
Right, yeah, I thought that well was shut down.
No, I think they still have it for emergencies,
Okay,
and they probably periodically run it to collect water samples or maintenance.
okay. Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
And
Thank you, Kyle. Good
and Matt,
presentation.
just, they pay an out of area replacement fee, which is
They pay roughly like $1,600 per acre foot.
per acre foot.
Yeah. Because they're not currently paying any state water project costs to AVEK, Palmdale, or Little Rock because they're outside our boundaries.
Boundaries, yeah.
Well, I remember they lost that judgment,
They did.
so. Okay, any other comments?
Thank you.
So I had one more thing. So another item that's on the agenda is to continue discussions of the carryover storage agreement. And Water Master Legal Counsel sent out a latest draft that incorporates all the comments to date. But just late today, the Water Master or the LA County Water Works sent out some additional comments to that storage agreement. I've reviewed their comments and for the most part, pretty supportive of what they're recommending. They actually clean up some language in there that helps AVEK keep stored imported water separate from stored carryover water. So I think for the most, like I said, most part, I'm supportive of their recommended changes. We'll see how the discussion goes tomorrow at the advisory committee though.
Okay.
So, and being that we don't have another board meeting before the Water Master meeting, looks like we have direction tonight for our representative, Director Paris, but if something materially changes after the advisory committee, then we'll probably get together with the AVEK Water Master Committee and go over that,
Okay.
if that's acceptable to the board.
Thank you, GM Newton.
Yep, thank
Any
you.
other comments from the board? Okay, do we need a board order for this?
We don't need a board order as long as we have a consensus that everybody's
Okay.
generally supportive of what Kyle presented.
Board's in agreement for Rob? Okay. Thank you. Okay, moving on. General Manager's report.
Yeah,
Go
we
ahead.
have a couple things. So first, we're going to start with Tom Barnes, our imported water supply manager, give an update on statewide hydrology and snowpack, or lack of snowpack.
Lot of brown dirt. Good evening, Board of Directors. As Matt mentioned, I'd like to give an update on California snowpack, the state precipitation, how that impacts our water supply for this year, 2026. California snowpack has been quite low. The Department of Water Resources did do their April 1st snowpack survey, and they found a critically low statewide snowpack, just 18% of average. This is the second lowest on record. Last time was 2015. That's the lowest on record, where the governor stood there right there in brown ground and said, this is it, this is what we have. So he declared a drought emergency. It's abnormally dry and hot in March, caused a lot of the issues. You can see in the picture there that there really is not much to measure, really zero measurable snow at that critical Phillips Station survey site. So what that means for the future, DWR will be forced to rely heavily on their reservoir storage, which is going to be drastically diminishing as we head into summer here. Overall, you see some numbers up there, 12% for the northern region. This is up from a week ago, even 5%. We got a little bit of storms this last weekend. So it did bump up about 7% there in the northern region. In the central portion, we're 27%, which was about a 10% bump up from last week. So we did get a little bit of a help there. 28% in the southern region as well. But statewide overall, about 23%. So we're still 23% of average normal for this state. So we're still hurting quite a bit in snowpack. Okay. This is kind of an animated slide here, so I'll move through it. But basically, these are the two areas we look at as far as precipitation. Snowpack is what's storing the water. Precipitation is what's actually fallen on the ground. So northern Sierras, We did get a bump up about 4 inches here in April, which is great. You know, we're just starting off, we're in the middle of the month. So, but you can see the previous month, obviously March was basically at 0 precipitation. That really hurt us. As we look in San Joaquin area, got about a 3-inch bump up from this last storm here in April. So that helped us out, but still quite a ways behind on precipitation. All right. Statewide reservoir overview. You know, across the board, statewide reservoirs are about 118% of average. So that's pretty good, you know. That's why DWR is continuing to look at that and determine that they're going to need all that storage as they come into summer here. So as we look at 2 reservoirs, we look at Oroville, which is the first one there. There you go. So Oroville staying pretty steady. You know, most of the reservoirs are staying pretty steady in California. As I said, they're trying to control that storage because it's critical. So they're just about, you know, 128%, I think it is, of average for the state. Then we look at San Luis Reservoir where we keep our carryover, and that's a critical reservoir for us. And also too, staying very stable at just above 100% of average for the state. As far as the AVEK water supply portfolio, our allocation has not increased. And so we were being held at 30%, which is just about 43,453 acre feet. Carryover in San Luis, which is what we are delivering up to this date, is started off at about 20,000 acre feet at January 1st. Current balance, we're at about 11,000 acre feet on carryover. So we're still in fairly good shape there using that carryover. Bank supply, we started out the year at about 156,000 acre feet of stored imported water. Current balance is a little bit, we've been banking, so have about 160,000 acre feet in balance at all of our banks. Local groundwater supply, January 1st, we've just used about 500 acre feet of the local groundwater supply. Next update on supply will be, should be our final review of the state water project allocation in mid-May timeframe. We should see something, and they'll take the numbers, the storms I just mentioned, they'll take those numbers and they'll use that for the May allocation studies. So still not probably anticipating much of a bump up or anything. We're actually fortunate this year we don't go backwards in allocation, so we'll hold at 30% and be happy, I believe. So. As far as forecast of water supply, we'd like to look at this atmospheric river forecasting tool. It's basically a landfall tool. And I usually like to look at it as it hits the foothills in California rather than the coast, because a lot can change from the coast to the foothills. The foothills is where the precipitation matters most in the form of snowpack. So over the next 10 days or so, not looking at a lot, we've got a little bit of that dark purple area coming. Basically, you look from left to right. That purple area there is starting to head up. I've seen today's, this was from yesterday. Today's graph, AR forecast saw that head more to the north. But you can see that middle section there, we moved left a little bit. That part right there, that has darkened a little bit, so that just means that the probability of a higher AR and AR1, which is the lowest level AR, but there's something there. So what we may see is in next Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe, might see a little bit of snow in like the South Lake Tahoe area, which is kind of close by where they do the snowpack measurements. So we may see a little bit next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, a little bit of snow. That's about it as far as forecasts. I believe that is it, yes.
Okay.
All I have, unless you have any questions.
All right, good job, Tom.
Good job, Tom. Any questions for Tom on the board?
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, and I've got a couple slides, Vice President Van Dam. So just a quick update. We've seen this just last meeting, our budget schedule. We got through the memberships tonight. So you can see during the month of May, we're going to focus on our capital improvement budget, our IT budget, and our personnel budget. So we'll be bringing each of those to the board as they get through committee. Next slide, Holly. Quick update on our refunding bonds. We're scheduled to present the legal documents, the preliminary official statement and the refunding savings threshold to the Finance Committee on April 21st. And then if that goes well through the committee, then we'll give the same presentation to the board 2 weeks from tonight to hopefully approve all the legal documents, the official statement, and the threshold for the refunding savings. So things are going good. We had our call with the S&P Global, who's the rating agency. We had that call late last week with the team, and we're supposed to get some feedback from them by the 21st or on the 21st. So at the Finance Committee, hopefully we'll be able to report what the findings are there. Next slide. A couple of upcoming events. We have the Water Master Advisory Committee and what's called the biannual sub-area management meeting. That's tomorrow at 10 a.m. on Zoom or at Quartz Hill Water District. We have the Water Master Board meeting a week from tomorrow here at AVEK or on Zoom at 10 a.m. Got the Aqua Fall Conference coming up in Sacramento. Myself and a couple of directors are attending that. That's first week of May. And then we have the Antelope Valley College Scholarship Meet and Greet at the Eliopolis Center on May 15th at 9 a.m. And last year, it was myself, President Lane, and President Lane's wife went to that. It was a pretty good event. We got to meet the kids that AVEK donated money to for their scholarship under the Justin Lane Memorial Scholarship Fund. So we'll work with Director Lane or President Lane and see if he can attend. If not, we'll reach out to other directors and attend that event. And then we talked about it earlier, but we had the Rural Museum fundraising event on May 30th. It's a Saturday at 5 p.m. Or it might be 4 p.m. I think it starts at 4 p.m. So, and that's all I have to report unless you have any questions.
Any questions?
All right.
Thank you, Jim Newton.
Thank you.
Directors' reports. Any reports from directors?
For me.
No reports? Okay, moving on. Attorney's report. Jim, do you have a report from for the board?
I'm muted. No reports, Gary.
Okay, Emily, welcome. Got a new attorney here listening in. Thank you, Emily, for coming.
Thank you, Vice
Any
President.
report to the board?
No report.
Thank you, Emily. Request for future agenda items? If none, moving into a closed session, is there a need to move into a closed session?
There is. We have 2 items tonight.
Okay.
So we'll actually take item B first. That way Emily can participate in that. And then we'll take item A second. She has to recuse herself from item A.
Okay. Okay, well, let's, Holly, can we take a 5-minute break?
I need a motion in a second.
Mr. Vice President, I move we adjourn to closed session.
I've got a motion by Director Paris. Can I get a second, please?
I'll second it.
And a second by Director Trimley?
Yes.
By Director Trimley. Holly, roll call vote, please.
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Paris.
Yes.
Jay Tremblay,
Yeah.
Keith Dias,
Yes.
Drew Mercy,
Yes.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
George Lane. George,
Did you get that vote?
we're going into closed session. Is that okay?